Buongiorno, everyone, and welcome to the match reaction. And if you're watching this, I'll be surprised because you'll need a few of them to get to sleep tonight. After that, ball draw. There it is. Now he's got it out. You should have had them out during the game, mate.
I know. I was on the Lucas ears, getting me water break in, but after that, I need fucking 10 of these.
I've learned since the restart, since the odd game, you've needed these. Like, Jesus Christ, that was as bad as you'd expect. I said in my prediction just seconds before the live watch along, where I commented and score prediction, I said ball draw all day long. I've seen this game, deja vu, the last few years.
I've already seen this one.
Haven't beat them in the Premier League, and now I know why. Because Brighton are like, ooh, this is Newcastle. Still thinking this Euro front. Still thinking, oh, we'll take a draw, yeah. And Newcastle just sitting there like, ooh, it's Brighton. Unknown entity. We'll have a draw, thank you. No team in this fixture has ever wanted to win a game football. And that was the same again the day. Newcastle didn't come alive until first half at a time when Carroll put one over the bar. Started the second half okay, pretty lively. Faded out for about half an hour. And then Carroll misses one from an open goal. Few yards out at the end. And apart from that, that's pretty much match of the day. Summed up there, innit? In 10 seconds. Yeah. Shite game. End of the season game. But what a knee energy. Lackluster, no creativity. St. Maximin's knackered. Now it's going to happen. But I'm just watching the Carroll replay there in the background. 86-minute Carroll. Wide from a few yards out. That's the big chance. Shelby's heads in hands. Carroll's heads in hands. Carroll's opportunity to get a first goal for the tune off the bench. Should have got the winner. Brighton will be happy with a draw, though, because that secures Brighton's survival, doesn't it? They set out to do that.
No,
But I don't know what Newcastle set out to do, just to pass the ball about for 90 minutes and head back up the motorway, because they just didn't want to know. They'd been at the beach last night, been out on the pier for a few drinks, I think. Slow start, slow for the last month now, isn't it? Thank God the season's ending next week and roll on the takeover.
Aye, that's the end of it. Thank God. I'm lost for words about that. I know I've seen some shite games this season, but it's this fixture, man. It's always a shit show. Like, if anyone put a bet on anything other than being like 1 or 2 goals in this, then I don't know what you're playing at. I was saying it during the live stream. I remember this fixture 2 seasons ago. I think it's St James's was one of the worst games I've ever seen in my life. And since then, all this fixture ever does is throw draws out, maybe the odd 1-0. I think Brighton won a couple 1-0. So it's either a 1-0, a 0-0, or a 1-1 in a boring, awful fixture. Every game, doesn't even matter if it's the 1-0. It's just shit. So fucking boring. I know we've had like a lot of injuries and fitness problems and stuff. So Maximin shouldn't have played the day. He was a shadow of his usual self. Should have rotated a bit more. Maybe it would have been good to see Kel Watts get a start. Maybe I think Andy Carroll might have had a good game against the big lads like Dan Burn and Lewis Dunk, but just absolute lackluster, as you say. No anything. Brighton dominated the first 45 minutes. I think just as we were going into stoppage time of the first half, we finally started to get into the game, and I think we probably were the better team throughout the second half. From when stoppage time came in the first half, I think we probably were the better team throughout. Brighton had the odd few chances, but that was not startling, was there, really, from either team? I think that Carroll chance at the end, that header, that was a sitter, to be honest. Like, no one will need to tell him that he should have scored that. He'll know. He'll be devastated with that one. But that was pretty much it. Almiron had a fair chance. I think quite comfortably saved. It was a decent save by Ryan, but didn't really trouble him all that much. Brighton had a couple of chances in the first half, but honestly, just I'm at a loss for words. Like, how can you talk about a game that boring, that shit? Honestly, I'd rather we got fucking pumped. Like, we're talking about like games against like Brighton in the Bournemouth in the past, like usually a draw, but they're 2-2. They're usually end-to-end games, 4 goals. I'd rather have seen that than just bore draws. Like, even some bore draws can be quite entertaining. We've seen a few games in the past where it's quite end-to-end, just both teams defend really well. Like, every time we come up against Brighton, it's just none of that. Like, the defense isn't even great. The attack's not great. The midfield's not great for both teams. Like, I'm going on holiday next season. Next time we play these, I can't be dealing with this again twice a year. I'd rather fucking Brighton got relegated than having to put up with this. So I can't deal with this for another season. Like, fuck me.
Yeah, it's not. Obviously, we'll see. Bruce poor again. It's the substitutions are far too late because he showed what a handful Carroll was when he eventually came on. Lazaro comes on 5 minutes left. What do you expect me to do? He can't even touch the ball. But, like we say, under Rafa as well, these games have been horrendous. Brighton, the only good one was in the Championship with Diarmi. Like every single time, like I say, we haven't beaten them in the Premier League. It's always an absolute shambles. Last of the match of the day material. God knows why this was pushed to Monday night. Sky was obviously expecting a late twist in the relegation battle. But tonight, there was no twist to be had. There was no excitement to be had. It was literally, can we just pass this around, get this through the 90 minutes and move on to next week? And by this time next week, lads, we'll be on my holidays. Yep. You know what I mean? Because there was just no intensity the night. There was no creativity because our only creativity is pretty much Alan St. Maximin. And he shouldn't have played like you said. You could tell he wasn't running at players. There was that one moment he had where he could have run out of defender. He would have been 1-on-1. He decided to square it to Shelby. He wasn't even in the box yet because St. couldn't physically move any faster than a slight jog. And you look at the chances throughout the game. You've got Dwight Gale who heads it up into the top net right before half time. Does well to beat his man. It's coming at pace, so you can't really blame him too much. You've got the incident in the first half actually as well with Matt Ritchie, where Brighton are claiming a penalty. Was that a penalty for you, an air kick from Ritchie?
I'm not sure. It could have been, but I think if you see the replay closely, Maupay gets back up. I think it was Maupay. He gets back up on his feet, and I think kind of like slips a little bit as he's trying to get back to his feet. But was he fouled beforehand? Probably not. And I think as he goes down, it was probably more of a slip than anything. But regardless, it was a shambles from Ritchie. Like people still need to talk to him about the incident. He tries to clear the ball. He doesn't. I don't know if he gets his feet muddled up or something, but he's got the ball in his own area. Lets it go past him. Maupay pickpockets him. Then he kind of brings him down, and they ended up. Maupay ends up squaring it, and Dubravka has to make a decent save. But it was a shit show. I think Ritchie had another one earlier on where he made a dodgy foul, got himself a yellow card. I think if his studs were a little bit higher, it could have been a red. It was a little bit reckless. But I think it was just a lazy performance, like everyone. I think Almiron didn't really get in the game. He had one effort in the first half where he tried to loop a crossover to Shelby that was nowhere near. And he had a pretty decent chance in the second half. I think it was like outside of the foot, produced a fairly decent save from Matt Ryan. But other than them two incidents, Almiron didn't get in the game today. We've spoke about Maxi. But Danny Rose was inconsistent, as he always is. I think we can say the same thing week in, week out about Danny Rose. I've Ritchie, dodgy. I don't know. I'm deflated after that. Like, what was talking about?
It's a massively deflated. It's a Monday performance, isn't it? Monday performance.
Anyone likes
Monday Brighton Blues.
Like what was talking about, like the manner of things, like the Tottenham game. Like we say, like we got beat, but we played well. We can hold our heads high, say it's all right. We always talk about the manner of the defeat. Some of the other games, like the Watford and the Man City defeats, and I know even Man City, one of the best teams in the league, best teams in Europe, like we expect to get beat, but it's about the manner, like how you come out, how you try, and that was just nothing today. The day, I think, as you said, like, I think both teams were just happy enough for a draw. It's the end of the season. They're happy with a point because it keeps them safe. We're happy enough with a point because we're not really going to get anywhere else. Doesn't really matter. Season's over for us.
That's it. Mike Ashley's happy with another mid-table finish, and hopefully we don't have to deal with Mike Ashley much longer. But with
where's that put us through the league's at 44 points, is it?
Yeah, he's still got to get something. All this talk about how Rafa is going to be beaten by Brucey. He's been sitting on 43 for a couple of weeks now. He avoided the fourth defeat in a row, but that's 3 defeats followed by a draw, and he still needs at least a point against Liverpool just to match Rafa's record of 45 points last year. Or was it when we finished 10th? So it's going to take something big against the champions this Sunday at St. James's. Hopefully Carroll can find the back of the net against his former side. He should have found it tonight against Brighton. But we went on for 10 minutes there for a 0-0, so I think that'll do.
That was a bit of a stretch, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, got to go to bed. So thanks for watching, everyone. Make sure you subscribe to my Magpies channel TV. Drop your comments below what you thought of tonight's 0-0 draw at the Amex. See you later.